Hi. So my name is Nihao and I'm with Skate Dojo.
Victoria here from Skate Dojo. Skate Dojo is here to empower the youth of Long Beach through skating of all forms. So roller skating, rollerblading, in scooters, skateboards, BMX.
And we are putting on this event for the community. It's called Future Roll.
We started off cleaning up the skate park at the Washington neighborhood. And while we were doing our small project of cleaning, we got grant funding from Habitat for Humanity, who has been an amazing sponsor. They're one of the big reasons why we're able to put on productions such as this, as well as cleanups at Michael K. Green Skate Park.
And it's basically to help empower people to see how many avenues there are for success, to do what you want to do in life, whether or not it was your original plan, or whether or not you chose traditional methods to get there. We have 4 distinguished guests. We have PJ, who is a roller derby athlete and a stunt person and professional roller skater and a bunch of other things. We have Vinny DeLuca, who is a producer, a director, a teacher at Loyola Marymount. We have Michelle Steilen, who is also a professional roller skater and a business owner who founded MOXI roller skates, who's been a big partner for us as we're growing. And we have Councilwoman Mary Zendejas. Super excited for everyone here.
So I'm going to start it off with Vinny DeLuca, and please enjoy.
Thank you guys for having me come speak today. So a little bit about me. I'm a skateboarder. I'm 43 years old, so I'm an older skateboarder, but I still get out there and skate.
Hi, I'm PJ. When I was first asked to talk today, I was very excited, but also a little confused, especially after seeing the rest of the panel and seeing how successful everyone is. I kind of had to think about, like, why would people want to hear from me, especially people who are probably not far off in age as me. They're like, why am I hearing from this 23-year-old? But then I kind of thought about it, and I feel like a lot of people could relate to me.
A little bit about me and how I became to be Councilwoman Mary Zendejas. I was born in Michoacan, Mexico. At the age of 8 months old, I was in a coma. The doctors had really told them that they didn't expect me to come out of that coma. They gave me 24 hours to react. And right at the end of those 24 hours, I started crying.
My name is Michelle Steilen. I also go by Estrojen, which was my roller derby name. I'm the founder and owner of MOXI roller skates brand. That's a roller skate brand that started as a skate shop in Long Beach, and I'll tell you about how I got there.
It was kind of, skateboarding for me was my first love. I started skating when I was about 5. I'm from Vista, California, which has a long history of street skating. I
got into this whole, skateboarding, roller skating, blading, action sports industry from my little sister used to skateboard. My dad skateboarded. He really wanted us to skateboard. I was terrible at it.
When I was younger, I found an interest in roller skating, and I bought my first pair of roller skates for like $6 at a Goodwill. I'm not even kidding you. And I got like the worst pads ever, and they were disgusting, also from that same Goodwill. And I immediately took to the streets, and I was like, I'm gonna learn this. I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. I remember doing chores around the house, going to my neighbors, being like, hey, can I, clean up after your dogs in exchange for like $3, $2? And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
So the thing that I did instead of skateboarding is roller skate, and I just never wanted to take them off, and it was like my second chance because I was terrible at skateboarding.
And maybe when I was about 10 years old, I started to figure out about the skate rink. I'm from Austin, and there's this very prominent skate rink in Austin called Playland. And it's like I think it's the only one still there. But when I was growing up, like, it was very like kid friendly and I loved going. And I remember being like 10, 11 years old, learning how to take the bus so I could go like, I don't know how far it was, like 6 miles, 7 miles from my house. So I could go to the skate rink like 3-4 days a week.
I really actually wanted to be a pro skateboarder. But skateboarding, we didn't have skate parks back when I skated. It was more like you were just out in the streets, and some of the characters that I skated with were a little bit like rascally. So my parents really didn't love the fact that I was skating as much as I was.
My parents did all that they could in Mexico to try to provide the best healthcare for me, and they realized that the best healthcare would be to bring me here to the United States, and they did. And so we were able to immigrate, and we were able to get all our legal paperwork and everything done because they had a child here.
I'm not like your typical, like I didn't graduate high school, I didn't go to college, I didn't have some of the privileges that a lot of other people have. I didn't have the most supportive parents when it came to extracurricular activities or even pursuing many things that I wanted to do in my life. Everything that I wanted to do, I had to save up my money. I had to find my way there. I had to work my way for the things that I wanted. So anything that I wanted, like, I had to go full throttle into with everything that I had.
And so it got to the point where my dad was like, Vinny, you're either gonna skate and live on your own, or you're gonna not skate and you can live at home. And I'm like 15 years old. And so I probably should have had the guts to move out, but I didn't. And that actually, for me, I think it took my life in a particular direction that was good.
I don't think that they brought me here for better health care. I think that they brought me here for a chance of an actual life. I don't think that my life would be the same if I were to have remained in Mexico.
But when I was about 16 years old, I had a lot of difficulties in my home life. So I left home and I was like, I'm going to be on my own. I ended up dropping out of school because I had to work full time. But for about 6 to 9 months, I was couch surfing. I didn't have anywhere to go. And funny enough, the place that I felt most comfortable was the roller derby warehouse. So like I ended up staying in the warehouse, and a lot of the people knew, and I wasn't really allowed to stay there, but nobody didn't want to tell me I couldn't stay there. So someone like left a key and was like, like a don't say anything, like a hush hush.
And my parents are divorced, and I'll just say that, like, I don't know, growing up was it gets better. It just keeps getting better. You overcome your obstacles and you align with like what you feel good doing in life, and things just keep getting better. Growing up is not easy. I had to overcome all of that stuff to defend my greatest purpose, which is sharing what truly makes me feel good and sharing that with others, and that's roller skating.
Funny enough, I got a job at Sonic, which is, where you can roller skate and also work. So I was having the time of my life, just being able to skate around, out work, and then going home to this warehouse and skating more. I was living for it. I loved it. So during that time, I was able to practice, and I got, I had all the track to myself. I was able to use all the equipment that they had, all the cones, and I was just able to do what I loved, all that I, for as long as I wanted.
My mom always pushed, like, find something that you truly love to do, and any job that you take, make sure that you like something about it. Like, focus on what you enjoy doing, and don't take a job that you're ever going to hate, because it's going to take you down a path that you're not going to enjoy doing.
And instead of just focusing solely on skateboarding, I turned to school, and I ended up going to undergrad and then graduate school. I have a law degree. I'm a lawyer. And I also am a filmmaker. I'm primarily a filmmaker. So I've had the opportunity to develop my thinking abilities, and at the same time, I still skate, and I still carry those lessons from skateboarding that I learned that I think are really critical for success in life.
In Thrasher magazine, there was this advertisement for a skate camp, and my dad was like, I should send Lauren there. And she was really shy. So he sent me there too, but I didn't really have anything to do there because I hated skateboarding. And so there was a gymnastics program there. I did the gymnastics program and assisted my sister fitting in at camp.
With time, I did gain a little bit of strength back. It wasn't until high school that I started using a wheelchair. And right before going into junior high, my doctor told me, okay, Mary, I'm going to sign the paperwork. You're going to get out of special education school and you're going to the mainstream school. And I was like, what? No, I need a special education school. No, I was in junior high and I thought, no, this is where I feel safe. No, doctor, we can't do that. And he was like, no, Mary, you're fine. Your brain is fine. Your body may be a little slow, but your brain is fine. And I was like, nope. I told my parents, I don't want to go. I think that was probably the best thing that happened to me.
And I really didn't know what I wanted to do in college. I just did it because my parents told me, like, you got to do this thing that we didn't do. And our lives didn't work out the way we wanted them to work out. So, do what everybody else is doing. And I went to a city school in North Philly, which was completely different than the boring town that I'm from. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do there. And I didn't have a lot of people to give me any direction on like what to do to choose a path in my career, except for that like advice that my mom gave me. I always worked at candy stores and ice cream shops and like always the fun stuff. I always chased my highest excitement.
My dad wasn't very supportive of my skateboarding career. And to be totally honest, he's an old man now. He's just now starting to accept me as a filmmaker, right? He thinks in like concrete terms, like he wanted me to go like do a trade or do something that's really tangible. And instead I've always like focused towards like artistic endeavors. And for him, like the practicalities of that don't really line up, right?
Unfortunately, at every school that I would go to, I would be the only person with a disability or the only person in a wheelchair. And so that made me feel a little awkward and out of place. But at the same time, I think it kind of helped me develop into a person that wasn't as shy and was able to ask for what I needed, because at that time, I was using a manual wheelchair and I couldn't push myself to my other class. So I had to speak up and I would. And that's how I think I made a lot of friends, because everybody wanted to help Mary get to her next class, because they would get to leave 5 minutes early from this class. So, little incentive things, right, that would help me.
So I was just hanging around the skate rink again, and I met some Durby girls who told me about a junior team, and they said I should try out. So I was like, all right, I got nothing to lose. I still love skating. I'm going to try it. And so I tried out for the team. I made the team. Then I decided right before I turned 18 that I wanted to go skate with Angel City in California. I always had like a love for like film, like writing. And so I felt like, I was like, man, if I go skate out there, maybe I can pursue something in the film industry. Maybe I can actually pursue a career. So like when I was like about 18 and I could actually leave the state, because in Texas, you're legally not allowed to leave the state until you're 18 unless you have parent consent. And so I was like, when I turned 18, I was like, I can go to California all on my own. So I spent like between the ages of 17 to 18, like saving up every penny, like nickel and diming everything that I could so I could move out here by myself. And I eventually saved up around 10 grand, which I felt was like really comfortable to be able to come out here to find a place, find a job without having to worry too much. And so I did that, and I came out to California. I joined Angel City, and man, that was a wild ride in itself.
I leave skateboarding. I decide that I'm going to be a filmmaker. I have no inroads into the industry. I'm from San Diego. I'm not from LA. And so it's taken me a long time to get to where I am now. And I think everyone's path is going to be meandering. And it's no two paths will be the same. For me, I had a really important time where I put a break on college and I moved to Mexico. I was working at a golf course, and I became friends with some of the grounds crew there. They said, "Hey, you're starting to speak Spanish. You seem to like our culture. Why don't you move to Acapulco with my family and really immerse yourself in the culture?" So I thought, Acapulco, I'm going to the beach and I'm going to just go enjoy life for a while. Lo and behold, we weren't at the beach. We were like up over a mountain in an area that had no running water, like partial electricity sometimes, dirt roads. Life was really hard. And I saw beautiful people living in incredible simplicity with like profound wisdom. And I came back from that experience with more direction in where I wanted to go with my life. And that's why I applied to film school and I applied to law school. And I ended up going to Duke University for law school and USC for film school. And so like I started to have a little bit of direction. I knew that like what I had experienced in Mexico, I started to like find a way to express the desires inside of me. I've always been an empathic person, and I really wanted to like start telling stories of people who maybe not always get the ability to be on the big screen.
I had all this time that I was like practicing and spending a lot of time on my individual skills. I was good at Derby, but I was much better individual skater than I was like a roller derby player, like in a team. And so joining Angel City was a blessing, but also a very rude awakening at the same time, especially because I was used to playing with juniors, which were girls significantly smaller than me. And joining Angel City, there was all different types of people, different sizes. I was on the smaller end, which ended up really like being a pain later because I realized I was not the biggest person on the track. And so I had to like reestablish myself and like understand how to best play in this sport. But the cool thing is that when I joined Angel City and I started to kind of get recognition, within my first 3 months of being with Angel City, I got my first film job. I did a live performance on Jimmy Kimmel. So it wasn't like recorded or anything, but it was like whoever like knew the in got to go, and it was for a band called Bastille. And so me and a couple other roller skaters got hired to just skate around like behind this band while they played. And I was like, oh my God, I'm getting paid $300 to skate around and do nothing. I was like over the moon about it. I was like, this is the best thing that I could have ever asked for. I was like, I want to do this every day. I made it a goal to market myself and like try to only do jobs that I enjoyed. Because before that, I was doing like terrible serving jobs. Like I was working at like Chili's and Hooters and all kinds of places, just like trying to, again, nickel and dime just to support my roller skating addiction.
Over time, I've basically become a human rights filmmaker. I do a lot of documentary work. I've now been able to travel all over the world, Africa, Asia, South America, on a number of issues: women's rights, clean water, human trafficking, heavy topics. But within those heavy topics, there's like so many beautiful people that I've been able to meet and interact with. And it's similar to skating. You go into a space and you have to listen to someone else's life experience, and you grow because you're getting impacted by the ways that they've lived and the experiences that they've had. And for me, that's really the beauty of filmmaking, is I get to sort of be a sponge and I get to be a conduit for, through my camera, other people get to express who they are to the audience. And that's been just a real joy in my life. I just love it so much. Over the years, I've had to figure out how to make money. I shoot commercials. I shoot projects for nonprofits like Habitat, projects that I still believe in, but I'm also able to make keep the lights on. and I'm also working on passion projects as well.
In high school, I started volunteering and doing all kinds of community work, making sure that we had community cleanup. I was very invested. One of the things that I remember the most is getting involved with NALEO, which is an organization that would help people who were legal residents become citizens of the United States. And that really excited me. And I helped so many people. And I couldn't wait till I was 18 so that I could become a legal citizen and so that I could use my voice to be able to vote. And that was very important to me. I came from a very traditional, very strict Mexican family where the only way to leave the house is to be married. And I knew that marriage was not in the plans for me at that time. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to experience what I would see in the movies, you know? I wanted to be out there and just enjoy life. So when I was 18 and graduating from high school, I decided that I wanted to move out. Mind you, that didn't happen in a Mexican family. So I tried to figure out a way that I could. So I applied for a Catholic all-girls women's college, and I got in, and I was able to move out, and I was so proud of myself, you know. And I went there, and I got my AA, and then I realized I think I need boys in my life. So I said, let me apply to Cal State Long Beach and see if my parents will let me live over there. Ooh, that wasn't gonna happen, right? But I was able to convince them that that was the best way for me to continue my education. I did. I went to Cal State Long Beach, lived in the dorms for 1 year, decided that I wanted to get my own apartment, and I found some roommates, and we got my apartment right down the street from Cal State Long Beach. It was the first time that I was living on my own. And I had told my parents that not only was I living off campus in my own apartment, but I had 3 guy roommates. Do you guys know how bad that was for a Mexican family? But I had to explain to them, this is college. I needed roommates. They were the most dependable, and that's explaining my way and just showing them that I could do it on my own. Because first of all, they were very overprotective. I had a disability. How was I going to be able to live on my own? I'm proud to say that I came out right after I graduated from high school, and I never needed to go back home. I was able to work really, really hard to make sure that I didn't have to make my parents feel like they needed to take me back in, even though I had a disability most of my life. And so that's something that I'm definitely very proud of.
So when it came to picking a major in school, I just kind of took classes that I found interesting to me. And then in the end, like when the dust settled, they turned into psychology and cognitive neuroscience and English. And so I did like a double major and a minor, and I got a writing certificate. And all these things, like, they kind of amounted to like no real path. Like I didn't know where to go after college, except for maybe to go to more college. And I didn't want to do that because it was like such a great accomplishment to just like be the first one that I'm related to get out of school. And I didn't want to keep going to school to figure out what I needed to do. So I was just like, just stop taking the advice that everyone is telling me to take. I'm just going to take a year off and hope that inspiration strikes, because that alignment of all those classes that turned into all those certificates and majors, it was like, it kind of happened magically. Like, oh, I just chased my highest excitement and then something turned out. So maybe I'll just like not stress and take a year off from school or taking a job and like move to California. and waitress and babysit, and hopefully like inspirational strike and a career will happen for me now that I've got this degree that I'm not sure what to do with. So I did that. I moved to California, and I got a job waitressing and babysitting. I met this girl surfing. I was living in the Sheraton Hotel for a couple of weeks. I did scrape a bunch of money together, just like PJ did, to move out to California. And I had 2 weeks at the Sheraton. I met a friend surfing. She liked me and was like, move into my apartment. I've got an extra guest house and I'll help you get a job waitressing. And I met some college students that were graduating from, I think it was Loyola Marymount. They were in like a sports marketing program, and they started a marketing agency, and they were also French and professional snowboarders. And they were like, wow, Michelle, I forgot to say that, like, I really liked that camp. And I ended up working there as an arts and crafts teacher, like all throughout college and in the summer times. I really liked the people that I met at summer camp, and there were people from all over the place. So that was like really exciting to me. And so I knew a lot about the different sports and action sports. So fast forward back to the marketing agency. So these snowboarders, they started a marketing agency, and they told me, like, you know a lot about these sports, and you would probably be a good like public relations person. Like, you should be an intern at our agency. So I was waitressing, babysitting, and interning at this marketing agency. And eventually they took me to all these cool conferences where I learned about youth marketing and branding and action sports marketing. And I worked myself up to be the public relations director there.
After college, I did a lot of jobs. I worked for insurance companies. I worked for Long Beach Transit. I worked for Keller Graduate School. I worked at St. Mary's Medical Center. And one of the funnest jobs that I've had, though, that I think that I loved the most, was working for GNS, which was a medical supply company. And our main goal was to help those people get their products approved by their insurance. Those products that insurance didn't want to cover, our job was to make sure that they got covered. And you don't know how much happiness we were able to bring to so many of our clients. And I was very, very happy doing that job.
So then these companies that really weren't able to like get the buzz going about their own companies hired our agency to write about them. So I was writing kind of what I felt like was lies, like press releases and pitch letters, and trying to get these smaller companies into big, like ESPN magazine and Entrepreneur magazine, and just different like news, like putting out press releases. And I want to say they're lies because I would write things like, I don't know, I was fresh out of college, and I would write things. I was trying to do a good job and have like an actual professional career, which I never felt like I fit into like professionalism. Like, I still like can't dress professional and do it, the way that like it seems like professional people do. But I was writing these press releases that were like, world's greatest skateboarders come to the Long Beach Grand Prix to put on a demo. And they weren't really the world's greatest skateboarders, and I knew that, but I had to like polish these letters to make, newspapers want to print them.
When one of my friends tells me, hey, you know that the seat for the first district is opening up, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I wonder who's gonna run for it. She's like, yeah, who do you think would be good? And we would talk and stuff, and I'd give her a whole list. And then at the end, she would look at me and be like, no, you, Mary. And I'd be like, oh, no, not me. And they'd be like, why not? You're so active in the community. Because I was on so many boards. I was on so many, because that's just me. I wanted to give to the community.
Just being able to get up every day and work towards something, whatever you want it to be, you will succeed at it one way or another. You just have to want to do it. And so if you're just like, oh, I'm going to just drop out of school, I'm not going to go to college, and I'm just not going to do anything, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, you have to still, if you're going to not go to school, you have to have a plan, like a plan B. It's just kind of like having that motivation. If you have the drive and want to get somewhere, you're going to get there. And that's kind of like, I guess, what kept me going and helped me figure it out, is just kind of narrowing down what I was passionate about and seeing how I can best make a career out of it.
Went to a skate contest in Philly before I had moved to LA, and there was some skaters skating around passing out flyers for the Philly Roller Girls, and I was like, oh my God, like there's no way you all can't skate. Like, where have you been my whole life? Like, oh my God, I want to do this thing, but I'm moving to LA. And they were like, oh, don't worry about it. Go to LA. There's a league out there. They helped us get started. So like the first thing that I did was like sign up for roller derby. So I was like doing the roller derby thing and, you know, had 3 other jobs. And I was kind of stressed out. And like, I just remember like putting my pen down at work and thinking like, man, I should write one of these stupid letters for myself.
When I first started roller skating, I never thought roller skating was going to be my career. I was just like, I just enjoy this. And then as I got to a point, I was like, and got that first job, I was like, I don't ever want to work a normal job ever again. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, so I was like, how can I go about making this my full-time job? And so from there, I sat down, I made a list, and I was like, how can I market myself and provide a service to people that they want to hire me for? I was doing different side hustles. Like, for one of the things, I took a class and became Adobe certified just so I could work on like people's websites and like videos and like do little projects for people, and people pay me like $50 here, $100 there, work on this, Photoshop this, figure this ad out, like, you know, so you can do like Photoshop, Premiere, Flash, things like that.
Like, roller skating really could be like this whole new industry of like, I don't know, these derby skaters, they don't need to like always be at practice. They could also like dance skate or like take roller rink dancing outside, or like do what rollerbladers do in the skate park. There's like so many things. These are the shoes of the future. Like, roller skates just make sense. Like, you can get so many more things done in a day, and like there's so much more convenient. And what if like the whole world could glide around on wheels one day? Like, man, I want my own brand about roller skating. So I wrote a pitch letter to like every single manufacturer that I could find on the internet. And I got one response back, and it happened to be a Made in America roller skate and ice skating factory. And like the marketing director there was like, well, the marketing director there responded to me and was like, hey, do you want to go out to lunch? I don't have any new like young people that work with me. This factory is 75 years old. They move really slowly. The roller skating industry hasn't been very dusted off in a long time. Like, do you want to have lunch? I'm in Southern California too. So I like had this whole presentation for him about creating the shoes of the future brand, and like taking skates and making them like not just black, white, and tan, but like every single color of the rainbow so that you can match them with your outfits. And you could do all different kinds of things on roller skates.
After that, like with roller derby, and I started to actually make a name for myself and establish myself as a skater, and people started to recognize me, I was able to host camps. And so people would come because they would be like, wow, I want to learn this thing that Pearl Jam's done, or I want to do this thing that she does, or I want to come and learn from her. And so I was able to market myself and really establish myself in the roller skating community. I was doing about 4 camps a month, which was more than enough to pay all of my bills and save some, which was really nice. On top of getting small film jobs like the Jimmy Kimmel live performance one, I've done all kinds of random skating events. I've been paid to go to Vegas and skate around. Like, I got paid $1,000 for 3 days just to literally skate around a big event that was happening and just wear a logo, basically. And I was like, this is great. I get a free hotel room, I get fed for free, and I get to skate around and do what I love and show off and be who I want to be. And it was honestly, it was super cool.
So I like pitched this brand, and he was like, whoa, you're really passionate about this. And then I think it was that moment where I thought, oh, like everything is aligning. Like that break I wanted to take, that inspiration I wanted to strike, it's like right here, right now. Like, this is what my purpose is. My mom was telling me to like find a job that is going to make you happy, and it was so stressful trying to figure out what that was. And when I kind of impressed this person, I just thought, okay, I'm like never gonna give up. I'm gonna make that, like, this vision is true. Like, this is real. Like, this is gonna happen. This is gonna blow up, and I'm gonna make it happen no matter what. And he was like, the factory is never gonna hire you, but I can like take your resume and try and pass it around to other people. So I started working for this roller rink out in Riverside and driving really far in traffic. Make a long story short, I did a lot of free work. Like, I forged away. I did product development work and like did concept briefs for projects, for concepts of products that I thought that roller skaters really need. And I was practicing roller derby, and there were things that just were not made. Like, and the gap between manufacturers and like what skaters need is so big. Like, manufacturers will never outpace the ideas of the rollers, of skaters, any skaters. Like, any user or customer of a product that's like really like on like hitting the pavement, using the product, is always going to be able to make the product better because they have such a tighter relationship with it. And like manufacturers, they're like, that's a big business, and they really need to rely on the users to be able to bridge that gap and like meet the demand of what the customer is really, really craving. So having someone like skaters working for manufacturers is really, really important, because then as exciting, like as innovation happens, the customers become more happy, the users, the skaters, the bike riders.
That's where the passion carries through, because through the ups and downs of life, that passion, that dedication, getting in there, putting in the time, that's going to be the key to success over the long haul. When you find that passion that you want to direct your energy into, and then that will carry you through the different seasons. But it's a grind, you know, and there have been times when, you know, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make it this month. And then there are seasons of abundance where like everything seems to be going right. But I love filmmaking so much, and I love telling stories this way so much, that I'm going to do this whether the money's there or not. You know, that's sort of like the indicator whether you're doing the right thing or not. Is like, if you're willing to put in the time, even when it's not financially paying off, that's an indicator that you're going in the right direction.
So like, I don't even know like what you would classify my career as. You can call me a professional roller skater or roller derby athlete. That is how like I make my money and how I support myself. But I have recently started to think about like the future and where I want to take this, because you can only like, because one day I'm going to want to not be a roller derby athlete. One day I'm going to be, you know, older. I won't want to skate, or I'll want to do other things, maybe something more fulfilling. So my roommate, who's actually a park skater, we've been working together to create events in the roller skating community like they do for skateboarders, like competitions. I actually have the privilege of working with Michelle, who you'll talk to a little bit later, and she's helping with our first event that we're going to be putting together hopefully sometime in August. And depending how that goes could determine if we continue doing these and make them, you know, reoccurring. But yeah, so it's about me and kind of how I got here.
The relationship with yourself is the most important thing when you're trying to establish what you're going to do with your precious time on possibly your only chance on earth. So you really have to find out what makes you feel really good and chase your highest excitement and never give up. Some quotes that I just always reflect on are, one is Albert Einstein's quote, which is, if at first an idea does not seem absurd, then it has no hope. So every time I would like go back east and like talk to my family, and they'd be like, what are you doing? Like, roller skating, like it's not meant for outside, it's meant for inside. And you're never gonna be able to take this back east. Like, we have seasons and winter. And I just thought, oh, they just can't see it yet. Like, no, the East Coast is going to be skating. They just don't know about soft wheels yet. And the roller rinks were never selling those. And so every time I faced a little bit of resistance, I went back to that quote, like, oh, they really don't know how absurd this really great idea is.
Skateboarding is about seeing your terrain in a specific way that's maybe a little bit different than the way that maybe the city planners have decided to create the architecture. Skating has given me the opportunity to see differently, and I love watching other people skate because you get to see how they envision the space that they're skating in, and that forms a community. You know, if you go to the skate park where Skate Dojo is based, everyone's going to skate that park totally different, and it's exciting to see that, and it pushes your own mind and your own physical limitations to develop in really cool ways.
I guess I just want to back that up with, like, doing what you love to do is there's a lot of personal and business mixed in that, and it's a really fine balance it's a fine balance between creativity and who you are and your purpose, and also making money and paying the bills and providing for others. And the journey getting there to figuring out that balance was having a lot of side hustles and keeping a job, like, for as long as possible until you're able to rely on it, or you're able to even be responsible for someone else's career. Like, hiring someone for your company is a major responsibility. I don't ever want to let anyone down. I want things to be stable and solid for others.
Skateboarding is about falling constantly, you know, and failing, and that's really a critical skill to succeed in life. When you fall 1,000 times and then you finally land a trick, you have developed this tenacity and this ability to continually pick yourself up, to feel pain, to push past limitations. And I think those types of skills are so critical in whatever avenue you end up moving in life, because there's always going to be obstacles that you're going to face. And having the ability to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, think about what you did wrong, how you can improve, that's going to be a critical skill that will help you succeed in life.
And then also a quote by, I've got a terrible memory, but that Steve Jobs, he said, "If you don't give up, inevitably you will always succeed." So there were a lot of obstacles that I had to face, a lot of mental health, a lot of addiction, a lot of things that I really need to get clear with to align with my higher purpose and to share these feelings that make me feel so good that all come from skating. And just don't give up. Once you find out what it is that makes you feel good, figure out a way to share it, to create relationships with people that are on the same path as you. And eventually you're going to live the wildest life of your dreams. And I promise you, I'm a true testament that I am really living the life of my dreams and serve a wonderful staff that is just as passionate as I am about making roller skating the shoes of the future. And just don't give up once you figure it out.